Yo, welcome to the Eclipsis tutorial. Well, it's not official, but mattwiz professional Eclipsis tutorial. I'm here with the GOAT, Jester. You see him? This guy's the greatest player in the game. So, in this section, I'm going to basically explain literally almost everything that's involved with this game, right? And just how to become good, because there's like 50,000 new players, so like they gotta learn somehow. This section right here, I'm going to talk about the early game, how to get like a decent base up, and how to counter rushes. So you see the chat. So basically, you spawn in, right? You're gonna spawn in somewhere on an land connected to the mainland, right? You're gonna have these little pipes here, right? If you see it, you also have crystals. So first thing you want to do, go up to a crystal, hold E to pull, get that up to 100. The crystals in this game, that's your that's how you get iridium early on without a base. You're gonna want to drag from crystals, right? Next thing, so you're gonna see me build things really fast. I'm gonna try and go slower. However, this is the main way you want to master the game is through these keybinds. But I'll do a click early on so you get the idea. First thing you want to do when you spawn in, iridium. Iridium holds pretty much everything that involves iridium, right? Go to iridium. Extractors, this is the main way you're gonna make base. You're gonna place a well pump here. Now, well pumps are unique in that they can only be placed over these pipes here. Once you place it, anytime you want to place something, it's going to need iridium. Now that comes from many different sources, but early on you just have your board of app. So you're just going to fill it, right? It's filled. Now you want to get more iridium, right? So I'm going to go get more iridium. Now the main way iridium is transferred in this game is through pipes. You see here, this is a pipe. It's leaking. Anytime you see a leak like this, it's going to essentially drain 5 iridium per second. Notice how this is full. Oh, by the way, if you hold Alt, it tells you the capacity. So you see it's 50 out of 50. So it's filling because we're losing 5, but we're getting 10. So we're actually getting 5 over time. So next, I press the Q to go back fast. We're going to pipe this into here. So we're going to go iridium pipes. The easiest way, right, is 4 ways. Now, you could just pipe it in directly. It would take like 2 pipes. However, we're going to need multiple connections to this well pump. So it's easier to just use a 4-way. Place it anywhere, right? Because every time you spawn in, it's going to be a different layout. But you want to connect the well pump to spawn. So yeah, iridium pipe. You're going to pipe this in. And you see it's draining here. So you're going to pipe here to the spawn. And now to fix these leaks, you can go to iridium special cap. Cap's basically cap off. So no iridium can go this way or no iridium can go that way. Right? Now, the reason we're doing this right now is because we want to defend from rushes. I'm pretty sure every single Eclipsis player has been rushed before, and it's a bad feeling, right? The way you want to do this is you want to get guns of your own, right? Because if you have a pistol and they have a SMG, you're gonna die. So you get guns by military production arsenal, and you just build one. Oh, you can, by the way, pull from your spawn. It's faster. Go to your iridium pipe and just pipe it up. Now I'm gonna tell you the best weapons to get from the arsenal early on. You want to go to automatic, SMG. The SMG is pretty much your close range tool. It kills. Automatic assault rifle. Assault rifle is a burst weapon. It one taps a head, so if you get 3 headshots, it will one shot, right? Optional, you can get a rocket launcher. Rocket launchers mainly they can kill rushers that are hiding in blocks. You're not gonna really use this right now, but people usually like if you're rushing, you like to hide around this. You can rocket launcher them to get them out of their position, right? You might this isn't necessary. You might like a scanner to see, oh, let me show you what a scanner does. Scanner basically tells you where everyone is. So if you take out the scanner, you click, it tells you where people are. And if you zoom in, there's personnel scanner, there's spawn scanner, scans the spawn, and beacons, which we'll talk about later. So once you have weapons, you're free to go. You don't want to stay here unless there's really good. If you see multiple of these pipes, so let's say you see five, like a cluster of five of them, then okay, you can stay. However, my spawn here is pretty mid, so we're gonna leave and just head out. You're just gonna head out. You have guns, remember, so you're not that scared. And since your well pump is connected to your spawn, you're not gonna. You can spawn back. So I think this is a good place here. Yeah, I got really lucky. This is a 5. See, if you see something like this, you can base your spawn, but no. So I'm going to show you how to make a decent base early on that you can basically use. So, same thing. We're going to make a well pump. And you see, you have 0. So you're going to go find a crystal and drag from it, pull from it. Right? And then you're going to fill it in. Go to iridium pipe, 4-way. 4-ways and T-junctions, this right here, are the best way to pipe and just make your piping so much more organized, because if you have like a chain of pipes, it's going to be annoying. So you're going to want to pull cap on the sides. Okay, let me show you. Afterward, you're going to either make either two things. A refill station, which is found in pipe special refill, or a spawn, which was that thing over there. So you're going to go technology character spawn point. There is, if you're far away from your spawn and you know there's rushes, I would build a spawn. But if you have like no crystals around you, build a refill. And if you have like, if you're like really close to your spawn, you don't really need to build another spawn location, right? I'm gonna build a refill because I usually like, I'm safe. I'm not gonna die, right? And so I would just build a refill right here. And then I would pipe it up. What a refill does is it allows you to drag iridium. You see how we did that with the spawn? We were able to drag iridium from it? We can pull iridium from here, and it'll refill very quickly, right? After you have something like this, you're going to make more well pumps, and it's a lot easier because you have a refill, right? All right, just to recap, I've built a decent mech base. I have a spawn over here, and that gives me guns whenever I need to, and I can respawn, right? Oh, remember, if you're trying to make a base, which you're going to, try and find a cluster with three of these well pump pipes. I have 5. 5 is really good. The more the better. But I'm going to show you how to pipe this very easily, right? So, it's leaking. You're going to make a 4-way. And then refill. Okay, yeah, refill because you're kind of poor. Destroy this cap. We had the cap there because, hey, we don't want to be draining this. But we don't need it anymore because we're going to pipe. We're going to pipe it like that. We're going to pipe it like this. So once you have 3 well pumps, you probably, I don't know if you know this, you can upgrade the well pumps, which gives you utility upgrades. It doesn't help with the production, which is showed here, it's 10. But it gives you utility upgrades, which are extremely useful. First thing, I'm going to introduce you to the fabricator. So if you press B, it creates this blueprint of a fabricator, which you're going to fill in with your refill. Right? The fabricator builds things for you at a constant rate. I think it's about 20 iridium per second, right? And it doesn't really drain you that much. So using a fabricator is extremely, because you don't want to just be filling in things all game. So if I were to build a well pump blueprint right here, it's filling it for me. If I hold Alt, I can show you the rate as it, yeah, it did it pretty fast. And then I would just put a 4-way there, throw the cap, pipe, cap it. I will show you all of the different things and what they do here. So if I press B, I can upgrade it again, and it makes a distributor, which puts wirelessly transports iridium from my backpack. I mean, from the source, which is the well pumps, onto my backpack. So if I use my iridium up, I don't know how I could do that. Let's just say I build a well pump here. I'm at 35. Watch when I get into the distributed range, it fills up for me. When we do an early game, we're gonna try and get as much fabricators as possible while it's not draining. Draining basically means when these are the amount of iridium in the source is 0 or close to 0. We don't want that. So we're going to fill. We're going to try and get as many fabricators up so we can build things faster. Now, a quick game sense tip. If you scan or if you see someone in your distance who's coming towards you and you have something like this set up, you want to get defense. Now, there's two ways of defending. Let me destroy this well pump just for an example. So if you go to military weapons, and defense. There are 3 weapons that you really should be using in early game. The sentry, which you can only place on well pump pipes, and it basically shoots people close range. However, you need to be in the range of it, so red means I'm in range. So if I go out of range of it, if I can, okay, I can't, but it's a pretty big range. If you're in range, it's gonna shoot down anyone it sees. It also has a feature where it shoots down rockets, but it's broken right now, but it would work eventually. The second defense that you can use is a turret, which I would place on top of wall pumps for like the best range. It basically shoots down enemies. It's similar to the sentry, but it doesn't shoot down rockets, and it's kind of slow. Now, I want to teach you what this exactly does later, but whenever you build defense, you're going to want to go to this, you see special, right? Tech, and then distributor cap it. The distributor cap only works if you have a distributor, which what this little sphere is called. If you build that there, it's powered. Now you could listen, like I could pipe this. Like I'm gonna show you, I could pipe it. However, that's a lot. It's very inefficient. I had to destroy this, build a four-way, blah blah blah. It's too much work. Distributor caps are easy, and they're good to use for pretty much anything that requires a small amount of power, which are defenses, artillery, what you'll see later, shields. I'm trying to think. A spawn, you can decap a spawn, but you want to get defense. The third defense that you want to get is an arc turret. An arc turret, what it basically does is that it zaps anyone that's in the range. So this is the range. This covers this one arc turret covers everything. You decap that as well. What it will zap. So you're not gonna have this, but I'm gonna show you what it does. So I'm gonna go onto red. See, it starts shooting me. Sentry's off because no one's in range of it. If I go under, I'm gonna have the thing open. I get zapped. And okay, I almost died. It also zaps the satchels, which are a thing in the arsenal, which are basically C4. Oh, yeah, you can get rushed, and someone could satchel your stuff. If you shoot the satchel, it pretty much rings. So it's, you know, it's good. You want to have arcs pretty much everywhere so no one can enter your base. But that's later, because you're kind of poor, right? So we want to finish this wall pump cluster with 2 distributors and the rest fabs, right? You might be draining, which is fine because you have a lot of fabricators. Alright. This is what we kind of want. 2 distributors, you don't need more. If you have more, you're going to just drain. And then all the fabs. Now I'm going to show you what we can do with 10 iridium per second to make it even better. Now we can go to Iridium, Special, Tech, and build a pressurizer. Pressurizers are this unique thing that boosts all of the iridium per second of a single cluster in a well pump by 10, each pressurizer. And there are spots under this, what we call a derrick, under this. You can see it's kind of bolded by this parts. If you go down, you can build one here. The well pumps will reach it. Now you're going to drain, so I recommend pushing, not pulling, but pushing. And then look, it's 20 iridium per second. Now, your well pumps can't reach, the well pump fabricators cannot reach that. So you're going to build your own fabricator in Technology, Structure Tech, and Fabricator. And you're going to decap it. You can decap fabs. If you press Alt, you can see it. It uses 20 rating per second. Decaps bring 50 rating per second. So pretty much you can use everything that requires less than 50 rating per second with one decap. Now you would go down and build the pressurizers. Usually there's only two. It's randomly generated, so I have three, which is really lucky for this type of well pump cluster. You just want to let that building and you just go up because the fabricator built it for you. Now with a place like this, you're going to want to expand. So what does expanding mean? You're going to want to have this, right? You're going to have this base, but you're going to go and get more eco, which is more iridium. You see these extractors? If you're next to a spire, I'm going to show you the spire battery. You have a spire battery, which is over here. Well, one of my, jester that go built it. Essentially what the spire battery does is it gives you 30 iridium per second and can only be placed on these little pipes in these spires, which are orange. If you can build one, it's really good. It stores 600 too, so it's really good. Use bridges to move around, by the way. The next one, which is a really good source, is a crystal atomizer, which you can only place. You can place it anywhere, but it only works if it's over a crystal like this. Now, if you have a situation, I'm trying to find an example where, okay, here, where the crystal is over like a hole. What you can do is go to structure, platform, blocks, place a slab block over it, and then it gives you a surface where you can place an atomizer. Atomizers, proportional to how much the crystal, like the size of the crystal, will give you a certain amount. So let me show you. This right here, 3 reading per second. If I fill, see, if I push it in, it's getting more and more. If this storage of the crystal atomizer is full, it's going to just do it by itself. I'll show you an example of that happening. So, as many crystals as we see, and as many welcomes as we see, we're going to just make the atomizers. To expand, you're going to want to have some fabs. So what I would typically do, if I'm in this situation, I would expand like this. I would go to Technology Wireless, build a distributor, which is basically the well pump distributors. I would go to Technology Structure Tech, build 3 fabs, bring a pipe, and T-junction here, pipe, decap, and see, the fabs build for me very fast. Now, don't make your life hard. Just 4-way this, pipe. 4-way this, pipe. I'm placing a T-junction here. Why? Because I'm going to build the distributor. And then now I can get more fabs because the fab range is very limited. Look, if I build a pipe here, see, it's not in range anymore. So I'm going to build more fabs. So 3 fabs. Build 4-way. Expand to these crystal atomizers here. Decap. Fill in the decap. Now, once you have a sizable base, you're going to want to get defenses. Like, more defenses than this. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this base can't die very easily. So we're going to do shields, which is military shield. They basically generate a sphere that has a certain amount of health around your base. So if I do this, you should alternate the pattern. So you see these little things here tells you the size of the diameter. So if I do a large shield, okay, let me set it today. This is only sandbox command, so you can't. That's how big this large one is. The medium one is this big, and the small one's pretty small. Alternate it because it's better against AoE, area of effect. For every single like distance
you're gonna want to get arcs. So you're gonna do like that, like that. Maybe a turret on the fab if you want, like this. We see why we have the distributor because we're gonna decap. And what I like to do, so I don't use that much iridium. I build a shield every couple areas, something like this, and then decap, 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 decap. I just set it. I just turn it on to large to cover the most amount of area. If you want to be really greedy, you could just not build the fences. However, man, someone could just go into your base and destroy it also. Defenses are key. Once you have a sizable base like this, um, build a spawn somewhere. Four-way this is gonna be important later. Pipe it, cap, cap, and get some tanks. The best tanks in the game for mid-game, which is pretty much where we're at right now, is large tanks. So iridium tanks. Tanks store a certain amount of iridium. Right now we don't have that much. The spawn store 600, and each of the wells store like 50. So we don't have much storage. So when we're consuming iridium, we're gonna lose a lot of iridium very quickly. So that's why we build large tanks. I usually get 12, and you can build them like this. Tanks are very good for affording things from the arsenal or the SIM, which I'll show you later what it does. And here's an easy way to pipe it. Like, just do this. It's very simple. Of course, I would be going faster. And remember, your one principle, you need arcs everywhere. So, you're gonna get arcs on this. Like, just try and defend everything. It's better to over defend than under defend. Arcs and turrets don't consume anything as of the current update, so you really can just spam them. Get a distributor. Our tanks are filling because we're making a lot of iridium. Right. So this is pretty much really good for early game. Now I do want to talk on offense early game. The easiest way to kill any bases that are next to you, let's say, oh, there's a guy basing right over there. So what I would do is I would go up. How do you go up in this game? Structure, keep. Make it keep. Or ladder. It's the same. It doesn't matter preference. I would go like 2 if they're nearby. If they're more, then you would go higher, right? So then I would go here, build a bridge, and then we're going to use offense. Instead of military defense, we're going to go to military offense and build artillery. Artillery is a really cheap and easy way to kill other bases. It's an area of effect, and it does a lot of damage to things that are not shielded. The boar, which we're going to use a lot later, is expensive, but it does a really good job of killing other bases. By the way, elbows are a really good way to pipe, and if you're kind of like in a situation, I'm going to mimic a situation. If you're like this, okay, if you're like this and you can't pipe it, well, you can just do this and pipe. Simple, right? You're going to want to go up here. This is only if they're basing near. If they're not basing near you, then you can just mind your own business. However, if someone's skybasing to you, you want to skybase back. That's the principle. Four-way that. Remember four-ways and T-junctions. Easiest way to pipe and make it organized. And then the best angle here is 45 degrees for an arty. However, you can aim it lower if they're like here. So if they're here, I kind of shot accident. I would go here and just shoot and just kill them. If anyone tries to base near you, because then they're gonna try and kill you, right? So that's pretty much it for the early game. You want to have a base, a sizable base with enough eco and defenses. Once you have that, you're ready to move on to the mid game, which is coming up shortly. Hey, welcome back. So we're gonna talk about the mid game now. After you have a good base, which this is a pretty decent base, right? Every single game, I have to preface this, every single game is going to be different, so you're not going to have this scenario. You might have a terrible scenario. However, once you know that you're in the mid game, which is when you have, let's say you have a couple well pumps. Now, I don't need to do this, however, it might be good for you. If you go here, if you have an open pipe and you go to tech and you go to gauge, it shows you how much iridium. If you have like 200 to 150 iridium, you're good. I don't have to do this because I can tell because I know the game. But if you have that amount, then you're in the mid game. What we're gonna do is you see these islands over here, which I don't know where you're basing, so you're probably not gonna see them. But if you're near like the edge, you're gonna see these islands. We're gonna build some islands. Now, islands are pretty much the best way to get iridium in the game right now. Now, you could also base at the mainland if you want. If you see really good pumps here, you can base at the mainland. However, I'm gonna teach you how to build a land vehicle, or in this case, it's a sea vehicle that goes around and just builds these islands and transfers the iridium from the islands to here without having to pipe. So what we're gonna do is build a transceiver. So think of it, everyone calls it a Wi-Fi tower basically. We're gonna build a Wi-Fi tower. So we're gonna go up 3 ladders because transceivers only work without shields. So we're gonna build transceiver tower, which is in wireless where the distributor was. Build 2. Here's how transceivers work. Each transfers sends and receives 100. So if you have 2, that means each island with 200 iridium. If they have 200 iridium, they're gonna send 200 iridium. If they have more, then they're only gonna send 200. So it's really good. Transceivers also work anywhere. It just can't be blocked by anything. So we're gonna go down. Bring a pipe up. It's good to get a defense on the transceiver tower so no one can drill it easily or no one can kill it. So arcs everywhere. Oh, I want to get a distributor here. There's other ways to make islands or a transceiver tower. You can just make a transceiver. I'll show you the 2 methods that are also used. Transceiver towers are just probably the better one. You can also build transceivers out of your shields and then do something like this, but this is only if you're near the edge. You can do that. Or you can go on the derrick where the shields don't hit and build transceivers like that. My personal preference, but this one's the best because it's less vulnerable. And this one's also good. Now we're going to build a land vehicle, so we're going to go to military production, garage, okay? Now, you see this pipe here. It's 200 iridium. We don't have to pipe this in. You might think, oh, we can just pipe it in and waste time. We can build this 2 4-ways and build a decap thing like this. Each decap is 50, right? 5 of them is 250, which means we can build a barge. How do barges work? I'm going to tell you. Barges are basically things that move around that they just move things. Anything you build on this will anchor itself onto it. Now, here's a pipe. We want to decap that. What we do here is we can basically move it around. Look, if you press E, you can increase the elevation. It goes higher. Or press Q to decrease it. It doesn't work if you have portafab, by the way, if you have it on. 2 is probably... 2 I use most frequently, so we're going to use 2. I'm going to show you how to make a fabricator barge. So remember the builder things here? We're going to build a barge that basically just does that, just builds things for you. Alright? So we're going to build 3 fabricators. Now this is my design. There is 10 billion designs you can make. We're going to decap these. And we're going to upgrade them. Upgrading a fab, I didn't show you what it does. It just makes it better. But you need 2 decaps or 2 distributors to actually make it work without draining, because reasons. And then 2 distributors on top of the fabs. Build a standard tank. This stores 600. It's really good. 4-way. Pipe. Go up. 2 transceivers here. Pipe it. Easiest way to pipe is like this. Spawn 2 turrets. If you optional auto mech, the auto mech basically anything that's damaged around it after 9 seconds, it's just gonna repair it. Oh, if you get something damaged, you can hold to repair it. Like if I do this, see the HP, I can repair it like that if I just hold it. However, automech is much more efficient, but it's a little expensive. So early on, if you have to repair, you might want to use a portafab, but later, automechs are goated. Place an arc here, and we're ready to go. So we're gonna go off. Barges stay at their elevation if they're under a platform. Now, in order to get these transceivers to work, you must be stationary. So if I station myself and I angle myself to the transceivers, we're gonna get iridium. See how it's filling and everything works? If you go off of the stuff, we're gonna start going down. However, we kind of want that, so we're gonna go down. Your island RNG, don't even look for these islands. Your island RNG is gonna be so much more different than mine. You want to look for anything that has more than 3 or 3. So this is 4. This is perfect. I'm gonna show you my method of islanding. There are other methods out there which others can show you, but I'm gonna show you mine. So I like to build the well pumps. I want to make it the easiest way to pipe for me. So I want to just pipe it all together. Upgrade each to fab. Place an observer. I'll tell you what the observer does in a second. An automech, spawn, arcs everywhere, turrets. All right. Whilst that's building, you're gonna get 2 transceiver. It depends how many well pumps, but I only need 2 because this is not gonna get more than 300 or 200. Pipe it up. You want the transceivers far away because we're gonna build shields, and we need shields to block these, so we need distance. The observers and technology structure. I mean, MISC observer. It basically, anytime there's an enemy, it's gonna give you like a notification. It's gonna show, oh, enemy. I could show you that right now. See? And then it shows, oh, the enemy's right here. So we do that. Once everything like this is built, decap, upgrade distributor, and decap literally everything here. Get shields far as possible from transceiver. You might want to place arcs around it so no one can drill it. Alternate size, remember. See, transceiver is not blocked. This one's only blocked because the barge is in the way. And then you want to get the pressurizers. Place arcs around the pressurizers. This one I have 3, which is beautiful, by the way. Now, depending on the amount of iridium here, you might want to make it more defensive so you don't lose it. But I basically just made 1 island. Now, in teams, there's usually people dedicated to making islands because they're so powerful. You always want to have a mainland presence. That's why we build on mainland first. We don't go to islands immediately if we're solo. We want to have a mainland presence. We build the base and then build a fab arch to get to here. Right? Afterwards, you just go to the next island. This one's a 4 pump. I saw it before. You can go and build the pressurizers. Preload the arcs. Build. Automech, observer, spawn, arcs literally everywhere. Transceivers. I'm going really fast. I'll show you how to be as fast as me. It takes practice though, so you're gonna... Yeah. This whole thing. Now, always keep in track on what's going on mainland. Scan, if you have a scanner, or just look. Make sure you're not getting cooked on mainland. If you're getting cooked on mainland, you have to go back. Like, you can't. You just have to go back. Press G to destroy stuff, by the way. Once they're done like this, shields out of the way, arcs around it, decap the arcs I built here. And do something like this. Transceiver is not blocked, so we're going to go to the next island. On solo, you want to build 3. In duos, there's not really a set amount. You just build as much as you feel like it, and you're not dying. If you're not dying, so you go here, and you build the wells. We don't have much space here, but we'll make it work. I'm going really fast, but this will all make sense why I'm so fast. Because this game is mostly about speed. If you can do things faster than your enemy, you're gonna win. If you want more fabs because you're just too fast, then you might want to make more fabs. Because, yeah. Pipe, remember, pipe with elbows if you can't pipe it directly. Arcs. Build a bridge off to the side. Get your shields. Arc the shield so no one can drill it. Make sure that the large shield's probably going to have you the most issue. Now, this is a principle here. If these distributors don't reach these, see it's black, it means it's not. You could build a distributor and just put 3 decaps on it, or just 1 if you want. And then that means that the distributor's range gets extended. See? Transfers are good. I'm going to get 4 islands because I have pretty big islands. Usually you can find 5 pumps. 6. I've seen like 8 pumps, dude. So I'm just gonna get multiple 4 pumps. Which this was my RNG. It's pretty decent RNG. It could be worse, bro. Like, I'm being serious. If you want to build atomizers, you can. It's gonna be hard because they're usually in these situations where you have to build a platform block, and it's annoying. I'm making it easier to pipe. Please, feel free to use as many 4-ways as needed, but don't. I see people do this. Don't do this. No, we don't do. Don't. Okay, just don't. Oh, I should have told you. Build arcs around your transceiver. You could build a wall thing like this, like structure defense wall, because having cover over crucial items is going to be a major principle. I'm going to tell you later. For now, you could do that if you want. If you play defensive, I play defensive, but not that defensive. When you build shields, make sure they don't cover. See, it's not covering, so we're good. I'm gonna go back to my spawn over there, which is spawn 2, I'm pretty sure. Not spawn 2, it's spawn 3. Okay, you're done with the mid game. Not really. Here, you're rich. You're rich, by the way. This is a lot of iridium. You're rich. I'm gonna show you now how to build what we call a setup. What is a setup? A setup is a loadout of weapons, perfect for mid and late game, that it's crucial. If you don't have setup, you're gonna lose. So we're gonna go. We need the rocket launcher and we need the scanner. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna build something called an upgrade station. Let me just help my good friend Jester here. We're going to build an upgrade station, which is going to give us upgrades to our character. We build this later on because the upgrades are very expensive and it's not worth it early game or mid game. So we're going to build an upgrade station in the spawn. See, it's found in where the spawn was, character upgrade station here. So we're going to build it. Whilst it's building, we're going to pipe it up, build a 4-way on it. Now, I'm going to teach you SSIMs, which were found where the arsenals were. SSIMs they have some guns, but they also have, hold on. Alright, my bad, I'm back. Anyway, SSIMs work, it's the same as transceivers, it works outside of shields. So we're gonna place outside of shield. But this is an example, don't do this. Do not do this. We're not gonna do this. I'm gonna show you everything in SSIM so you know what they are. Pipe it up. Don't decap it because look, the prices are very expensive. These guns, never use them. They're trash. And HLR small. They're all buns. A laser strike, basically, it's from the heavens. It sends a volley of strikes. I'll show you what it does later. An orbital shield, you see these shields? It basically makes a portable shield for you, which is crucial for a concept called upgrade rushing, which I'll teach a little bit later. And an orbital fabricator, just you press it, you equip it, and it basically just builds stuff for you. It's basically your own fort fabricator. Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make the setup. You're gonna want something that's vertical, like a platform block, or you could use this out of the spawn if it reaches outside of the shields. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna build 4 arsenals. Of course, make some space. I like to keep them like aligned. Now you're gonna build an SIM, which is outside. Has to be outside of shields. If you want to do it the pro way, you can build a drop tank, which is in Iridium special valves, and then on the drop tank you can build an SIM, and you build it simultaneously, which that's the pro way. And you pipe it like this. How you could do it other ways, but this is the easiest way. With T junctions, like my good friend Jester, the goat, is showing. Right now, let me get a pipe for this because this is yeah, you want to pipe from the upgrade station and then onto the SATA, onto everything. T junction it. Optional here, you would build a 4-way here and build a distributor here and then build a spawn. So he's building the SIM stuff. You're gonna only want the tactical strikes. Now you could build this in any order. However, my order is minigun, rocket launcher, laser drill, scanner, laser strike, orbital shield, and orbital fab. I'll tell them, let me get set up so I can show you what everything does, and I'm gonna show you upgrade rushing, which is a concept that many people, every pro pretty much does. In the upgrade station, you're gonna want literally every upgrade, so you're just gonna hold E until it says max. Now I'm just waiting for these to build whilst I go on and upgrade rush. Or you always want to have these the first arsenal stuff. You always want to have them. If you don't have them, you're cooked. Because if you're fighting someone, minigun is the best weapon. It's just too expensive for early games, so that's why we don't get it. I'm gonna grab the laser strike, orbital shield. Now, the easiest way to replace stuff is 2 at a time. So if let's say I get the minigun and rocket launcher, automatic explosives, minigun, rocket launcher. Alright. Now, there's a few things here we haven't talked about. Minigun is just automatic. Rocket launcher, you know what the rocket launcher does. Laser drill. What does a laser drill do? Any structure in the game, it just drills through it. It drills through crystals. So, the spires, it drills through it. This is the best way to just destroy stuff. See, it drills through the atomizer, it drills through everything. It does a lot of damage. It's good to use if you're rushing enemy bases and, you know, all that. The laser strike. I'm going to show you. So if I equip it and I hold it over an area, it's going to have a random angle and it's going to strike it multiple times. So if I do, let's say I'm going to do it on this wall pump. It has a certain range. So I can't laser strike that, but I can laser strike here from here. So if I do that, it's at a random angle and it does multiple strikes. It's perfect for killing an array of just like structures, right? The orbital shield, you can place it anywhere. It has a range. I can't place an orbital shield 5 million miles away, but I can place it like right here. It makes your own shield that no bullets from enemies can't go through it. And it's pretty much like establishes you a position to rush. And now the orbital fab just builds things for you. So often in upgrade rushing, what we do is that we build a well pump on one or an atomizer, and we build a spawn so that we can get back here and just continue striking them. See what Jester has to say. I'll teach them. I'll teach you about this little thing in the game. But here I'm gonna show you upgrade rushing. So let me go back and get set up. For upgrade rushing, you want to do upgrade rushing whenever you see someone's base and it has no shields. Because if you're just gonna upgrade rush a shield, it's not gonna do anything. You'll kill the shield, but you're not gonna hit anything. If you see a sky base that's being made, which you'll see what it looks like, or if you see something being, you know, a base that has no shields, you can just go rush it and kill them. Which is most noobs don't build shields, so it's pretty much. So what I would do, let's say this is enemy base, and it has things. So we're gonna first thing we do when we upgrade rush, we orbital shield, because we want to orbital shield at a range where the okay. I use the laser strike. But you want to go on your orbital shield, right? We want it to be at a place where the PDs, if any like, well, the point defenses here, point defenses, or turrets, if anything's shooting at us, we want to build it in front of us, or if they're all the way up here, we want to build them where we're being shot at. We go here, and then if I had a laser strike, I would just laser strike somewhere. And now there's an RNG aspect because it's based on angles. Because it's RNG where it's gonna land. So you have to make sure. Okay, you know? So that's an upgrade rush. That's after you get your islands, you want to make an upgrade rush setup and get the upgrade rush materials. You're gonna be rich, so you can afford it, right? So the next step is to expand over to your enemy. I recommend. Here's the thing. What I've taught you so far is for a longer game. Early game, if you early sky, which I showed you how to do, or well, the height limit is 4 keeps. You only want 2 keeps because hey, the enemies were really near. If you want 4 keep, if you early sky and you're able to kill your opponent, you don't need to do all of this. However, I'm showing this because it could be useful for pretty much 99% of games that are going to be a late game match. So we're going to do something called an expansion. There's personal preference on this one. You can expand on the ground and then make a sky base, or sky base and then expand. Now, I like to do ground expansions because, hey, if I expand, which we pretty much did here, but this is like a little baby version of an expansion. We basically did that to get Iridium. If I ground expand, I can get eco. I already have island eco, but I can get even more eco just from the stuff that I expand to. So I'm going to show you an expansion. Now, you need a pipe, obviously, because everything in this game rolls around pipes. So we're going to make a bridge. We're going to build 2 distributors. We're going to go here, build 5 fabs, 3 shields. In this meta, I like to get 3. You can get 3 turrets or a point defense. But remember, I'll show you what a point defense does. It's pretty much an upgraded version of a turret. It's really shoots automatic. It destroys enemies, but it costs 10 iridium per second. And if you don't have that much eco, I don't recommend building them. So you're going to want to do that. 4-way here. Pipe, pipe. And then distributor upgrade, distributor upgrade, distributor upgrade, distributor upgrade. Press B and then turn on the shields. Large, medium, small. Pipe. Build 4 bridges. On the 3.5, just do the same thing. You expand until you're at a relative distance to your enemy. Let's say my enemy is that way. I would start skying immediately. If my enemy was here, I would have just skied from this. So you need to, because this is important, because you need to know the bore range, right? So whilst this is building, I would get arc, because remember, arc everything. Arc, 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 and pipe it as, Jester's doing. Pipe and decap, all of it. Remember, decapping arcs and turrets is beautiful. Your shields are probably going to be building. Right? Now I'm going to teach you how to skybase. Okay, you can do this, by the way. This Jester way is kind of, I don't know. You want to roof it? Remember, okay, the best way to counter upgrade rush is to build a wall roof over everything that has no shields, which you're going to need on your sky, because if you're building a sky base and they just spam upgrade rush, you're not going to be able to do anything. So you're going to want a wall roof eventually. So once we're at a decent distance from our enemy, we're going to start our sky. So I like to do ladders sky. You could do keeps. I'm going to show you keeps because that's more like what everyone else does. So I would go 3 keeps. Now this height is kind of meh. I would go 4 ladders in 1 block, which is 3 keeps tall. Or 2. The best way is 2 keeps 1 wall, which I'm going to just show you because this is what I see pretty much everyone do. Now, the more height, the better, but you don't want to be at height limit. You want to be height limit minus the wall or minus a ladder because you want to make a roof. If you don't have a roof, then you're just going to laser strike and you're just going to die. Remember, arcs on all the sides. You build a bridge and then you start expanding. like we did on the ground. If you see any eco potential, like you see eco there, and you have the time, you can go get it, but I'm not gonna go get it because I kind of just want to show you. Do the same expansion method. If you're at constant threat of rushes, build a roof. I like to do a ladder roof. You can do a wall roof. I mean, a ladder roof like this. This is the wall. I mean, the ladder. You can do a wall roof. I like having extra height by building a ladder and block. And then I like building walls. A wall on that. And you can arc turret the bottom. Right? So literally, if they try and go up, they're gonna die. Remember, arc turrets are meta. They're beautiful. We love arc turrets. I'm gonna introduce you. I'm not gonna show you the like extravagant method of skybasing, like because that comes with practice. I'm gonna show you how to set up a skybase I'm not gonna show you how to master, because I've already mastered this method called boar spam. I'm gonna show you how to start it because bro, I could be here all day talking about boar spam and how to be the best at it. But remember arcs. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So once you have this, okay, listen, you do not need to board spam if they just have a mobile base and there's no shields. If there's like 2 shields or there's like a decent amount of shields, you can build like a bridge and then build 3 boars. I'll show you what the boar does by this example. If you're at a sky by sky, you're gonna board spam. But if they're on the ground, you already in boar. That's the method. And we like to get fabs on the side of the bridge just to help with building later on. So this interface of a boar is probably going to be very confusing. I'm going to show you step by step. Power on button. It turns on. A boar charges to 100. Every single percentage means how much damage it's doing per second. So right now it's doing 4 damage per second, for example. The cog wheel selects target. You can aim it to wherever you want. If you want to be technical, boars have a range of 400 studs, which this is how much 400 studs is. So it can pretty much reach its spire. Now, this kid is like, yeah, he's really taking. So for boar spam, you would do what he's doing, right? 6. Listen, if you want more on boar spam, I'll tell you because he's kind of building it for me. But before you boar spam, you're going to want to build about 10 extra fabs than the ones you already have in the expansion, like this on a bridge aside. And then you would build 6 boars and then start boar spamming, and then immediately. Because your enemy might be broke or they might be rich. You want to build as many boars until you start draining. If you see your tanks, you look at them and like, oh, they're draining. Uh-oh. If you drain at 6 boars or like you feel, oh, okay, I don't want more boars, you build Artie like he's doing and you decap it. Remember, Arties only take up I think 160 for shot, so you can just decap it and it'll literally work. And then that's how you start the skybase. You need to learn how to skybase and have game sense and know what to do in every situation. That takes a bunch of time. If you're going against 1200s, like I assume most people watching this, like between 1200 and 1500, you guys are not gonna face like 2Ks who know everything about skybasing. So it's not gonna be that hard. But remember, I'm gonna give you the game sense. If it's boar by boar, if they make boars, you're gonna make boars back. If you guys are close enough, you can already them. Okay? I don't have an example of that, but I might post a match that I do. Like a high-end match. I'll show you step by step what I do, right? If they have no shields and they're trying to expand to you, just already them. There's no point in boring. Boring is really good if it's boar on boar or if you're killing shields. And yeah, this is how you start at skybase. I'm not gonna teach you how to be the GOAT at skybasing because I literally can't. Like, that takes hours, right? Hey, so this is an extension of my tutorial. I've taught you how to sprawl, which is make a base. I've taught you how to island. I've taught you how to skybase and expand. I've taught you what to do early game. How to kind of rushes. I'm gonna teach you now how I'm so fast and do all this. Now, here, you do this by practicing your build keybinds. You can do this in a sandbox where you just practice going to well pump everything. However, there's a game that I'm gonna pull up in a few minutes. That's gonna teach you really well how to build really fast. I'm going to right now take the time to explain everything, every structure in the game. All right, I'm gonna go step every single structure in the game, and I'll show you the practical use cases. Iridium pipe. It's the basic pipe. Four-way has 4 intersections. T-junction. You want to use T-junctions and 4 junctions if you're piping a bunch of stuff together. And then the elbow just kind of gives you an extension of a pipe. See? Extractor's well pump. We've used the well pump so much, I think you understand it. An atomizer just fire battery. Tank. Small tank. Very cheap tank. If you press Alt, hold Alt on anything you do not know how to use. Alt menu is really good. Hold Alt on it. It stores 320 Iridium. It's decent for early game. Standard tank does the same, but it stores 650. Large tanks store 1300. And then the best tank is the Hefty. It's pretty big. Stores 280. Not 280, 2800. This one stores 1300. Large tanks are more cost effective. That's why I built them. But if you want to build Hefties, go ahead. Shoot yourself in the neck. I don't know. Okay, that was... Do whatever, okay? I didn't mean it like that, okay? Caps, basically, any leak from a 4-way. Let's say I have this. I decap it. I have these little leaks. I can cap it so it doesn't drain anymore. Refill, I showed you early game. It drags Iridium from a source. Tech, decap, anything. Pretty much almost everything can be decapped. It's really good for transferring Iridium from distributors and then giving it to things that don't cost that much. The gauge shows you how much Iridium you have per second at the main base, excluding transceiver network. So this is going to be negative. Yeah, you see? It's a negative 450 because we have bores on and shields on. Pressurizer, I showed you how to use it. It basically... Every Iridium in every well pump in a cluster, it increases by 10. And it usually spawns 2 to 3. 3 is pretty rare. It's like 25% chance every generation. Structure, seat. It's a seat, bro. Bridge, perfect for getting around. It's just a bridge. Walls. If you want to spam walls, just spam walls. It's really good. Its walls have a lot of health and they really good if you want to defend. But please don't make like a very like. Don't do this, bro. Like this takes 5 years and it's not good. Keeps. It's like a castle, like you know keeps in like a castle. It's really good for making SkyBasing because it gives you the most height off the ground. And gates are, we usually use gates for roofs. However, roofs are kind of, I mean, gates have like less HP than walls, but they take up more area, so that's why we use gates more often. But the gates don't survive in LS, and LS is like 1000 damage, blah blah blah. Ladder block is, we use it to go up, so we could do it for a sky or we could do it for transceivers. You're never going to use these, so I'm not even going to talk. And you're never going to use any of these except this one for atomizers and this one for getting more height. You might use this if you're like, if you fall into the ground and you want to land, then you could do something like that if you have orbital fab, but like, wedges, it's kind of self-explanatory what they do. It's a ramp. You know? Now, military, a beacon. Okay. Once you win, if every single team is off of mainland, that means you're winning, by the way. Or you have all of the land in the world, because there's maybe like one kid who's just basing on a spawn. You build the beacons. Beacons depend on the team size. So, if it's one player, it's 3 beacons. 2 players, it's 4. 3 is 4. 4 is 5, etc. If you build the amount of beacons, after 150 seconds, a bombardment goes off where everything except your structures gets deleted by laser strikes. I'm gonna tell you this because a common thing people do is that they spam seats under the beacons. If you see seats, like you see this, under the beacons, you need to destroy them with a laser drill. Because then if they're seats, they're gonna hit your stuff and it's gonna be really bad. The beacons are gonna hit your own stuff on accident. Shields, you know what shields are. You know what all of these are. I've taught you what this is. I've taught you what this is. The point defense is basically a better turret, but it's way more automatic. Character, I've taught you those. I've taught you these. Automechs, I don't really build them often, but if I'm in boar spam, I will build a lot of automechs because they repair your stuff after 9 seconds. I've taught you what the observer does. The boost pad is really good if you're upgrade rushing. If you make a wedge plus the boost pad, you can go 5 miles. Like, look at this. It's really good if you want to traverse the map, and it's really good if you want to get up to your sky. Spatial anchor. This is only spatial anchor will anchor anything if it's powered. So if my sky were to fall and I had to decap it, a common thing, it would work, right? It wouldn't fall. A common thing people do is something like this. They pick a tank and then they do an anchor on their sky and then decaps. Toggle the anchor. So if I were to cut my sky right now, it's gonna be anchored. See, it's gonna be anchored until this anchor. If I just disable it, yeah, it's gonna fall. And that's pretty much every structure in the game that has relevance. I'm gonna teach you how to practice your build. So I'm gonna leave this server. But before that, I want to teach you a method that Jester told me to teach you guys, which is crew spamming, which is basically the process of just building 10,000 arsenals. Not really 10,000, more like 20 arsenals. And then you pipe them all up with the T-junctions, right? And then you go to explosives, cruise missile, which is a guided missile. You just aim it, not like that. You have it open, like equip it, click, and it's gonna shoot wherever you want. And then you build the cruise again, and then you go to the next one. You just keep repeating that. Cruises are funny because they just kill everything that's not shielded. It's really effective. It's really annoying, so yeah. And just to add on, there's more to barges that are just fat barges. Like, you can build RD barges, 4 barges. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a barger. I'm mainly a SkyBaser board spammer. But yeah. Now I'm going to show you how to practice. So I'm going to leave. So yeah, to practice aims, what do you call it? To practice aim, build speed, you want to go to Eclipsis AMXD by Super Luke. And you go to game modes. There's combat practice, there's sniper practice. The most relevant for you is build practice. I'm going to show you my build practice. I'm on the leaderboard. I'm like number 15, right? If it's 16. Every structure you get is 10, and you have 60 seconds. I would do this until I have 400. If you have 400, then you're pretty fast. And you may remember keybinds. So I'm going to do an example. This helps you get to know like what everything is and exactly like, because the faster you build, the more you win. That's why I'm so good, because I build fast and I know what to do. So I can beat my enemies and have bigger bases at a slower, like a faster time. Okay, I've kind of forgot what that cyan was. Submersible is a deleted structure, by the way. There's a whole other meta to this game. I'm not going to teach you that because, like, I mean, if it gets enough demand, I'll show you sub meta and how to play it. That's where mainly all of the comp players play, because it was a beloved game mode. Okay, I failed there, but I got 680. You want to get onto 400, which is pretty much on the leaderboard. If you're at 400 pace, you're really, really good. But yeah, I've hoped that you guys liked this video on how to play Eclipsis, and me teaching you basically how I play and how you can become good counter rushers, all of that. If you guys have any questions on how to play, I'm gonna have it in the channel. So you just message me or whatever. But I hope that you guys are like you use this video and you're no longer 1200 or like you're high rating. I tried to explain everything as much as I could, everything that I like can know right now. But yeah, if there's any other mechanics, like all that, I'll probably make more videos, you know? So, yeah, thank you.